Rough
Check
times.
1 2. Check 1 2. Give me a mic check, John.
1 2 check. 1 2
All right.
check.
All right. Try leaning it. Try leaning.
On the hands?
Yeah, on the thing. Oh, it's not working.
That
Oh,
won't work.
God damn it. Let's forget this YouTube show.
No, this works like this. People love this. Wally loved this. His girlfriend loves me too, by the way. Not you so much. They didn't say anything about you.
Yeah, because she liked your movie review, right?
Yeah, probably.
So
Movies
what's
are
up,
awesome.
y'all? This is the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show. I'm Dave. He's Johnny. And we're on YouTube. And we're on the podcast as well. And I'm getting a message on my phone from Fred. We're going to move that away. So, Johnny, what's up? What do we have on the pre-show today? Anything? I got, really nothing going on. Everything is WWE involved right now with me.
Right.
So I
think
kind of
me
want to
too.
get to the WWE stuff. I don't even want to do a pre-show, to be honest. I want to get to the main show.
Well, I think maybe we should talk about Cena and Brie Bella or Nikki Bella right now, because maybe you can say some things you'd want to say on the radio about that whole situation, because you're very angry about it.
I'm not that angry.
Okay.
I'm not. I mean, whatever. Cena and Nikki broke up. I'm more sad for both of them than angry.
And,
Aren't you?
Well, I'm just upset because we had to live through that WrestleMania 33, and now WrestleMania 33 is a lie. So
WrestleMania 33 is a lie. It's a work, John. It's not a lie. It's a work. Okay?
So the marriage was a work. Yeah, and that's what upset a lot of people.
Yeah, it happened in a wrestling ring. The proposal happened in a wrestling ring. What do you think? They'd really go through with it? It was a work, brother.
I think a lot of people are very upset it's a work.
No, it wasn't a work. It was real, but they couldn't get it together. They couldn't get married for one reason or another, and Cena and Nikki broke up. The first couple of the WWE. No longer. It was big news. It's big news. I'm sad for Nikki. I'm sad for Cena. I'm more sad for Nikki. Because, she wants kids, and the clock is ticking on that, right? Her biological clock, of course. And men, we have more time for that kind of stuff. And Cena doesn't seem to want kids at all. So, yeah, I feel for Nikki. I hope she can find happiness, I like Nikki Bella. I'm a big fan of hers. Watch her on Total Divas, Total Bellas, Fearless Nikki. She came back from neck surgery. Very impressive. And I know Cena was a big inspiration to her. So, I don't know. I liked them together. I was happy that they were going to get married. I thought everything was going well for them. It was kind of a shock when I saw they were breaking up this week. I was sad. I was sad. It was a sad week. Not just Nikki and Cena, but Bruno Sammartino as well.
That's very sad.
The passing of Bruno is very sad.
82 years old. I didn't see Bruno, when I was growing up, wrestling. He was a commentator by then.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we're too young to have seen Bruno in his prime, but I've interviewed Bruno.
Okay.
I've watched Bruno, and he always struck me as a gentleman, one of the real, genuine good guys in pro wrestling. And there's not that many good guys in pro wrestling, Everybody's got an angle. Everybody's trying to work something for themselves. But Bruno just seemed genuine. Just seemed like a real good man. I mean, the guy hid from the Nazis in Italy for years, hiding in a mountain. Doctor said he was going to die of rheumatic fever. He managed to stay alive. The guy was sick for 3 years in Italy when he was hiding from the Nazis. He managed to stay alive, got super jacked when he came to the United States.
Yes.
Super jacked. All natural. All natural. This guy was lifting weights, eating steaks, eating pasta, All natural Bruno Sammartino, which is something that cannot be forgotten. The guy was ridiculously jacked. I mean, as a bodybuilder yourself, John, when you see a guy like Bruno, how did he do it natural? How did he do that?
It's very possible. You just have to be at the gym all the time, pretty much.
Well, yeah, you're at the gym all the time. I mean, you're super jacked, okay? I'm not taking anything away from you, brother. But you ain't Bruno. Bruno was a freak.
Different genetics, though.
Yeah, well, that's it. His
Yeah.
genetics really helped him out, I think. But, I mean, hard work as well. Crazy. One of the biggest, strongest dudes in the history of the business. The first John Cena, you know?
Well, when you look at it, he was the man that sold out Madison Square Garden more than anyone. And he'll always have that. I don't think anyone's going to be able to beat that.
No, probably not. Probably not. Although people do say that those numbers were inflated. People say he sold out the Garden like 200 times. Apparently, that wasn't exactly the case. But he sold out the Garden a lot. Remember when CM Punk was cutting that promo saying, you know, when he was the longest reigning champion, he cut this great promo. He said, I'm the longest reigning champion, they say, of the modern era, but, you know, Bruno Sammartino didn't have to work my schedule. He worked twice a month at Madison Square Garden. I'm here every night working TLC matches with Ryback. I just, you know, I don't want to say anything bad about Bruno. Bruno worked a tough schedule. It was a tough, you know, for sure. But I just remember that promo from Punk, and it was true at the time. You know, Bruno worked hard, but the guys today have it a little bit different.
Well, it's evolved. The business has evolved, and it's just totally different, the landscape. And the way they put matches together, too, is just completely different. The way they pretty much, like, go through with the match and prepare for a match. Everything's completely different now.
Way more bumping, too, than back in Bruno's day, right? Guys are bumping around today, taking big bumps. It's more like a big crash type business than it used to be.
Well, especially with Bruno. I don't know, maybe in Mexico and Japan, I think it may have always been that way, but
not like it is now.
Well, that's just the evolution, though, because everyone wants the next big thing, next great big spot. So.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Evolution is a mystery. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I don't really like that era, but that's
You
fine.
said evolution. I got excited.
It's okay. Just can't stand Evolution that much. Wasn't that great?
You love Randy.
Randy's good. That was the best part of Evolution.
Hey, what about Triple H?
Yeah, Triple H and God Mode, not so much. Cookie Monster, you should put your head down in shame. Completely.
You can tell I have a little baby around me. I'm hanging out with a Cookie Monster. I got toys all over the place.
Not a lot of respect for your son, obviously. You just throw stuff around like that. Shameful.
We're having good times here on the YouTube pre-show. This is a new feature. We're on YouTube live for the pre-show, and then we post it up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net with the .net spelled out, DOTNET. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, because I see we only have like a couple viewers. No one's watching this on YouTube. You're listening to this on the podcast most likely. You can go watch it on YouTube. This whole thing that we've been doing on the podcast that you're listening to on the pre-show. We just got a good comment. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can go on our YouTube channel and watch the video where you just saw a great comment from our boy Francisco who says Cookie Monster for the win. Cookie! I do the voice a lot. I have to. It's part of being a dad. You'll learn one day, buddy.
I love just having your son around so I can just kind of act like he's kind of like my son a bit. I do that with a lot of people. Like, that's why I take photos with your son, and they're like, oh, that's your son? I'm like, oh, he's a good boy, but his mom has custody. Like, I don't say that I'm not like his dad, but I'm not saying I am his dad. So
could you not say that you're his dad? Could you not claim to be my son's father?
I didn't claim that.
That's a bit weird.
I didn't claim that at all. I didn't. I just said, like, I don't have custody.
His mom has custody. That's
not true. It's true.
No, it's not true. His mom doesn't have custody. Both his parents have custody.
Okay, and his mom's parent? No, yeah.
So this dad has custody as well. We live together.
I just didn't mention that part. That's all.
You serious?
No.
Okay. I thought you were serious. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Is that bad? That says something about you, John.
I guess, yeah. But no, it's not true.
You claim my son is yours. That would be terrible. I would not be happy with that. It'd be strange. Even for you, John, it would be weird.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Even for you, Mr. Thumb Up the Butt. It meant something. I'll never forget that. Never forget.
Still live in the past.
375. Never forget.
It's good. With impression.
Yeah. Hell yeah. New Japan, I guess, is happening. There's some New Japan stuff happening this week. The Road to Dontaku is going down. There's a show on the 23rd, 24th, 27th, and then the 28th is Dontaku, and then the 29th. More Dontaku. So we have some big matches coming up. Big matches. Let me try and get the card for you. When is the 28th? The 28th is next week, so we'll get to that.
Saturday.
Yeah. So we'll recap the 23rd and the 24th events next week, but I want to give you a little bit of an idea on who is wrestling at these shows, at least the main events and what's going down in New Japan Puro Wrestle. Main event coming up on the 23rd for the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles. The new champions, Desperado and Kanemaru, representing Suzuki-gun, taking on Los Ingobernables team of Bushi and Hiromu. That's a hell of a main event. The co-main event, we have another battle of Suzuki-gun versus Los Ingobernables. Davey Boy Smith Jr., Lance Archer, the Killer Elite Squad, teaming up with their leader, Minoru Suzuki, to take on the leader of Los Ingobernables de Japón, Tetsuya Naito, and Evil and Sanada. The other theme of this tour, this road to Dontaku, it's not only the road to the big Los Ingobernables versus Suzuki-gun meeting of Naito versus Suzuki for the IWGP Intercontinental title, but we're also heading towards the IWGP Heavyweight Championship being on the line. Kazuchika Okada taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi. A big match. Go Ace, as you know. But Tanahashi and Okada, they'll be wrestling. And the interesting thing about this match is Okada has defended the title 11 times.
Okay.
Which is a record. The record is held by Hiroshi Tanahashi. So to break the record, he will have to beat the man, Tanahashi. So, big match. So, that's kind of the theme of this tour that New Japan is doing right now, this string of shows at the end of April. It's Suzuki versus Naito and Okada versus Tanahashi, and that's really what everything is building towards. And those matches will be incredible. I'm mostly excited about Naito and Suzuki. That's going to be crazy. But also, can Okada do it? Can Okada beat Tanahashi once again, break the record, and be the 12-time defending IWGP Heavyweight Champion? I think he can. I'd honestly be surprised if Tanahashi won the title from Okada here. I'd be very surprised.
Wow.
I mean, Okada's had such a run. He's beat Tanahashi before. It doesn't feel like Tana's getting some sort of giant push right now. It'd be weird if Tana was a champion. I don't know where that would go from there. But, I mean, hey, New Japan, they surprise you. You never know what they might do. I thought Zack Sabre Jr. was maybe going to take the title from Okada. That didn't happen. So, maybe Tana will take the title. I don't know. I'm interested, though. I think less so in the result, but more in the match, because I know Tanahashi and Okada are going to kill it. They're awesome. You see Chaos is coming to SmackDown?
Yeah, and someone tweeted about that.
Okada tweeted about it. He's like, no, actually, we're in Japan. Because that's the name of Okada's group, Chaos. Okada's in it. Will Ospreay's in it. A ton of guys are in Chaos, Jay White is in Chaos. The U.S. champion. And a few guys were tweeting no. I saw Will Ospreay. When the WWE tweeted Chaos is coming, he wrote, we are? Which, how awesome would that be? A Chaos invasion into SmackDown? like Okada, Ospreay, Jay White, they all show up and start whooping ass. That would be crazy. I would love that. It's not happening, though. What was that chaos thing? Is that just for sanity?
Maybe. I could see that.
Because it sounded like in the promo, Eric Young's voice was in there, right? So I think it's just a promo for sanity. But why did they say chaos? Are they changing the name of sanity to chaos? And you can't do that because there's already a group called Chaos.
You have a doorbell, so we'll end the YouTube here.
All right,
because the show's on hiatus right now.
Did you end the YouTube show?
Yeah.
Are we uploading?
Yeah.
Sweet. Are we still on podcast?
Yeah.
Sweet. Pick up your mic, brother, because this shit is about to get crazy.
Crazy. The mail that just came in. That's the fun part. You cut off YouTube, and now the surprise on the podcast.
Yeah, so the YouTube people don't get this. Although, maybe we should jump back on YouTube for the unboxing.
No, this is This is what you get in the podcast. Too bad.
Oh, but this is a good video.
You could show a photo, maybe.
Brother, I don't know.
What is this, by the way? Like, why don't you tell me here?
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Hold on, let me get a knife so I can open this box.
I imagine this is something to do with wrestling. I'm really hoping it's something to do with wrestling. It's not just new shoes, like.
It's not shoes. I have shoes coming on Monday, brother.
Okay.
I got some Yeezy 500 Blush, okay? The Desert Rats. Check that out. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm getting the Desert Rats coming in on Monday, the Yeezy 500s. Oh, they're beautiful. John, you want to see a picture of my Yeezy 500?
I thought you were getting Kanye shoes.
Yeah, Yeezy. Who do you think Yeezy is?
But weren't they blue, though? Not red?
You mean the blue tints?
Yeah.
I already have those.
Oh, okay.
The blue tint Yeezys, the 350 V2s. You know how many pairs of 350s I have?
Wow, jeez.
I have 4 pairs of 350s. I have the OG Belugas. I got the black and green. I got the cream Yeezys, the all white, and I got the blue tints. 4 pairs of V2s. I just got a pair of Yeezy Power Phase, which is their low-top black shoes. Real nice, real sleek Power Phase. And in the mail, should be showing up Monday or Tuesday, I'm getting the Yeezy Desert Rats. My 6 pair of Yeezys, brother. See, these are the ones that I'm getting. Desert Rats. See that, John? Fresh.
Pretty nice, yeah.
Fresh. Suede, leather. Real luxurious. Real high-end.
So what's in this mystery box?
So what's in the box? Let's open the box. Narrate me opening the box.
It's pretty much you doing this, not me. I'm just watching you do it as you try to get a hole cut through. You somewhat got it through. Now using the hands. And it's... you got it open. One side anyways.
What's that say on the box, John? What's that say?
Nintendo.
Nintendo. What do you think that is, brother?
Well, you already have a Switch, so...
It's something for the Switch.
Something for the Switch.
Do-do-do-do. It's Nintendo Labo! It's my robot suit, baby.
Oh, the cardboard box?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Oh, baby.
Wow.
Oh, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Woo! All right, well, we shouldn't play with this. You know what? It's here. I have my Labo. It's going to take a while to unbox because there's a lot of cardboard in it that I have to build. I have to build a robot suit. So this will be my prize for my reward for a show well done. After Wrestling Uncensored, I will unbox my Nintendo Labo robot suit. And I will become a robot, and I will smash things. So it's Nintendo Labo, the new thing from Nintendo, which just came out today. So I want to give a big shout out to Walmart for doing a good job and sending out my pre-order on the day that it releases. Not everybody does that. Amazon. Like, I'll pre-order something from Amazon like months and months in advance, right? And then the day it comes out, it doesn't even ship. I get it like a week later. Like the Kirby game, the last Kirby game that came out for Switch,
Right.
I pre-ordered it from Amazon. I didn't get it until a week after release. This I pre-ordered from Walmart, and it had the best price anywhere. It sold out real fast because Walmart had like a cheaper price. Everywhere else it was like $80, and here it was like $75 or $70 or something. So Walmart not only gets a better price, but it came out today, this thing. This thing only released today, and boom, it's in the mail. So they must have shipped it out yesterday or something. I didn't even get a shipping notice from them. This is a surprise. When my door rang, there was a box at the door for me. I had no idea what it was. And then I realized, wait a second. This is my Nintendo Labo. Robot kit, John. It's the robot kit. There's two kits. There's a robot kit, and then there's the kind of variety kit.
Okay.
I chose to get the robot kit to start with. See how I like it? And maybe I'll get the variety kit too if I'm so inclined. Kind of cool though, eh, John? Look at that. Brand new Nintendo gear. We'll put a picture on the we'll take a picture of this thing and put it on the website or our Twitter feed or something.
Maybe for the podcast.
I'll put it on my Twitter feed. I'll take a picture of this, put it on my Twitter. Maybe I'll take a picture of myself in the robot suit and put it on my Twitter. I'm going to look ridiculous in this thing.
The feet wear is something.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like those little like strap things here, like.
Yeah. There's all these straps that you gotta. Yeah, I don't really understand how it works, but I'll figure it out.
Have fun.
Looks cool, right?
Yeah, it looks interesting. It looks like it might break easy though, because you're not a kid.
That is my fear. It is made out of cardboard, and my fear is I will throw one punch and I will explode the thing and it will break.
Be gentle.
Yeah. All right. Want to start the show?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, this is Mick Foley, and you are listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
This is Santino Varela, and you're listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
This is Rob Van Dam. You're listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
Aw, yeah. Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He's Johnny North. We're here on TSN 690 every Saturday night talking professional wrestling. And, of course, we're online. We're online all over the place. We're on YouTube. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. Wherever you get podcasts, you can go subscribe on iTunes, subscribe on Google Play. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe there as well, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net with the .net spelled out, D-O-T-N-E-T. As a matter of fact, we just got done doing the world-famous Wrestling Uncensored pre-show live on our YouTube channel, which is a new feature that we bring to you on Wrestling Uncensored. The pre-show that you usually hear only on the podcast version of this show, which you can download at wrestlinguncensored.net. The pre-show is now available in video form on YouTube. So you could go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, and you could watch us. We have a lot of YouTube videos that we're posting up there because we are growing our YouTube channel. We are expanding our video universe, and we're bringing more content to you for free. Why not? And you know what? We had some cameos on the pre-show this week. We had a special delivery on the pre-show this week. I talked about the new shoes that I'm buying on the pre-show this week. I mean, it was eclectic, I would say. We talked about John Cena and Nikki Bella and their breakup, which I don't think we really have time for here on the show. It's sad. It happened. We got to move on. So we talked about that. If you want to hear our thoughts, listen to the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show. Go download it or watch it on YouTube. You have many, many options. But for right now, I want to concentrate on what's going on in the WWE. Of course, the Superstar Shake-Up happened this week. The greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia will take place in 6 days' time, Friday at noon on the WWE Network. So noon Eastern. I'm not going to give the times for all of our listeners. I know we have listeners all around the world. In Ireland, in England, in Saudi Arabia, in China, in Japan. I know the Wrestling Uncensored universe is strong, but I can only give you the Eastern time because that's the only time I understand. So 12 Eastern, noon Eastern, figure out what that means for you. Friday afternoon. And guess what? Johnny North and I will be here watching it together on Twitter, on YouTube, on many different platforms. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel next Friday during the Greatest Royal Rumble, to our Twitter feeds at Dave Simon MMA, at North Genesis, and we will have plenty of coverage of the Greatest Royal Rumble on Friday afternoon. And that's not all. The following Monday and Tuesday, I'll be at Raw and SmackDown, as Raw and SmackDown rolling into the Bell Center. Back-to-back nights of WWE doing TV shows here. So very exciting times in the world of Wrestling Uncensored. I'll probably do a YouTube show from the Bell Center. Who knows? Who knows what I might do? So stay tuned to all our channels, all our social media stuff, because we are giving you tons of content. Tons of content. We're going to preview the Greatest Royal Rumble here on the show. I know WWE Backlash is an event as well, but it seems to be forgotten. But I'd like to start with the Shake-Up. I think that was the biggest deal that happened this week, and a very eventful week in the WWE. We saw a lot of people moving around, tag teams breaking up, brothers separated, like Brother Nero separated from his brother Matt. Brother Nero, Jeff Hardy, beating Jinder Mahal on Monday Night Raw to become the new United States champion. Jinder, moving over from SmackDown to Raw in the Shake-Up, defends his U.S. title on Raw and loses it right away to Jeffrey Nero Hardy. Jeff Hardy then shows up on Tuesday on SmackDown and beats Shelton Benjamin in a one-on-one match that I thought was a lot of fun to see. When's the last time you saw Shelton and Jeff Hardy in a ring together, right? Old school. Jeff gets the win. I love seeing Jeff Hardy as a single star. I love seeing Jeff Hardy with a title belt. I love seeing the success of Jeff Hardy. I love it. I love this version of Jeff Hardy. When they were together, Matt and Jeff, since last year's WrestleMania, they had their ups and downs. They were tag team champions for a bit. And that's all well and good. But I feel like at this stage in the game, for Matt Hardy and for Jeff Hardy, they're better off as separate entities in wrestling. Jeff, as a single star, is phenomenal. He's a world champion level guy, and he has added to the SmackDown roster, which, by the way, SmackDown's the big winner in this whole draft, the whole shakeup. SmackDown has won. Raw has lost. Once again, the Raw roster is a lot weaker than the SmackDown roster. Significantly weaker.
I disagree, but okay, wow.
Really? All right. Let's break it down, Johnny North. I like that you disagree. Makes for entertaining talk. I don't really see how you can disagree when SmackDown has AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy, Asuka. Let's see. Who else do they have? Charlotte. Samoa Joe moved to SmackDown this week.
That was huge, yes.
Huge. Braun Strowman did not. I thought Braun was going to go to SmackDown, but he's still on Raw?
No, they need heels on SmackDown. It makes sense.
So Braun is still on Raw, but Samoa Joe goes to SmackDown. I mean, come on. What does Raw have? They have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. What else?
They have Braun.
They have Braun and Roman.
And Brock.
Yeah, Brock when he shows up.
And John Cena when he shows up.
And John Cena maybe when... No, John Cena's a free agent.
He shows up more on Raw than SmackDown.
Yeah, well, whatever. He's on both shows.
Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
There's a lot of star power on Raw.
Not as good as Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. That's ridiculous right there. Those four guys, it's enough for me. I'm good. Joe, Bryan, Styles, and Nakamura. Are you kidding me? You know what I like that Raw has, though? Bobby Lashley. Chad Gable now by himself.
Right.
Gable has moved over from SmackDown to Raw, and he's now going to be a singles guy. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but I've said from the jump with Chad Gable, he's a main eventer. He's a guy that you can put the whole company on his back, and he will carry it for you. He is a very, very talented guy, one of the most underrated guys in all of the WWE, and I'm hoping that this now will be his moment to shine on Monday Night Raw. I'm not sure if it will be, but I'm hoping it will be. Like, Shelton Benjamin cut a promo on SmackDown, a heel promo this week, because he and Gable were teaming together. Shelton said, I don't need Chad Gable, blah, blah, blah. I deserve title opportunities. Randy Orton comes out for some reason, and then Jeff Hardy showed up and wrestled Shelton. Jeff beat him. It's probably going to be Jeff versus Randy down the road, right? That seems to be what they're teasing on SmackDown.
Maybe a backlash.
But Shelton got more TV time than Chad Gable did in the shake-up. Like, the tag team split up, but it seems to be like the WWE put focus on Shelton, maybe because the decision was only made on Tuesday to break them up and move Gable over. But I'm hoping on Raw, Monday night, we see Chad Gable in a match, at least. Just so that I know he wasn't just moved over to Raw like Zack Ryder was moved over to Raw. Like, Zack Ryder's moved over to Raw, doesn't matter. Sin Cara was moved over to SmackDown. Did you even know he was on Raw?
I forgot.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want Chad Gable's move to be in vain. I don't want it to have no purpose. I want Chad Gable to move over to Raw to get a push, like his former tag team partner, Jason Jordan, did. I want to see the Jason Jordan push given to Chad Gable, because I think he's a supreme talent, and if given the opportunity, he could take himself very, very far for the company. He could become a breakout star.
Well, this is where I find that Raw won in terms of the shakeup, because pretty much almost all of SmackDown's mid-card went to Raw.
But their mid-card isn't very good. It's the main event that's important on SmackDown. Look at the main event of Raw. Who's main eventing? Seth, Roman, Braun. Who's main eventing on SmackDown? AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe.
I think it's good either way.
What? No, you don't.
Like SmackDown.
Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, John.
SmackDown's a bit better, but
a bit.
Braun's still.
They have
good.
Asuka.
Okay, yeah, but she's kind of like lost in the shuffle now. Now that she lost the streak, she lost that aura about her. You know.
I don't think so.
I think it's tough to book her now. What do you do with her now?
Well, she seems to be in some sort of alliance with Becky Lynch and Charlotte now, because you saw SmackDown this week. You had Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. First, it was Charlotte beating Billie Kay in a one-on-one match. Carmella was ringside. She attacks Charlotte with Peyton after the match. Becky gets beat up too. It was 3-on-2, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, and Carmella. But then Asuka shows up, making her presence known on SmackDown. That was when she was, officially shaken up to the SmackDown brand. And Asuka made the save. So Asuka, Charlotte, and Becky standing tall over Carmella, Billie Kay, and Peyton Royce. Some sort of feud going on there, right? Something's happening there. I could see Asuka being the one to feud with Carmella for the title, while Charlotte and Becky feud with the Iconic Duo. That makes a lot of sense to me. And it also works for Asuka to kind of bring her back up. Well, what if the rematch between Charlotte and Asuka is for the title, but this time Asuka's a champion, and Asuka defends the title? Charlotte was champion at WrestleMania. She won. She defended. Next time around when Asuka has the belt, maybe Asuka will beat her. Just because Asuka lost one match does not mean the whole gimmick, the whole Asuka character is done. I hate that way of thinking. It makes no sense. It's pro wrestling. You're not supposed to be undefeated forever. You lose one match, you win the rematch, everything's fine again. The only person that's been able to beat Asuka in the WWE has been Charlotte. That's impressive. Only one person can beat Asuka. Only one. If you start jobbing her out, if she starts losing to Billie Kay and Carmella and Peyton Royce, then you have a problem. Then you're like, okay, well, what are they doing to Asuka here? But as long as that's not happening, as long as she stays strong, as long as she wins 90% of her matches, it's all good. Asuka's fine. Not only fine, but one of the best wrestlers in the game today.
Well, compared to everyone else on SmackDown, it's pretty much just Charlotte, maybe Becky that can really give her a challenge. I mean, you imagine she would defeat the iconic duo Absolution now it's on SmackDown. You don't think that'd be much of a problem for her? That's the problem, though, too, though. It just pretty much stays the same for her. It's just Charlotte. That's it. If Ronda was on the same show as her, there'd be a lot more interest, I think.
You could build Asuka back up, have her beat everybody, have her go undefeated for the next year, and then have her face Ronda at WrestleMania next year.
You know that's not going to her.
Why not?
It's going to Charlotte next year.
Doesn't have to.
Oh, you know it's going to
It doesn't have to. It might. I'm not opposed to it happening that way, but they could go in a different direction. And I think Asuka's going to be all right. I don't worry about that. How about Absolution moving over to SmackDown? I thought that was really weird. I didn't like that move at all. That was one of the moves that I questioned the most because Paige is the GM of SmackDown. Her team members are now under her rule on SmackDown. And, like, the SmackDown women's division is already pretty packed. You got Charlotte, you got Becky, you got Naomi, you got Asuka, you've got Peyton, you've got Billie Kay, you've got Carmella. Like, you got a lot of people on that roster. Mandy and Sonya, they're lost in the shuffle. I thought, at the very least, you separate Mandy and Sonya. Keep Mandy on Raw or Sonya on Raw and the other on SmackDown because they're not Absolution anymore. Absolution was a 3-person group. Paige retired. She's the GM of SmackDown. So now you have Absolution as kind of nothing players on SmackDown, but their former tag team partner is the GM, so you'd think they'd get some sort of angle or preferential treatment or something. I think we should have forgot about Absolution altogether. We should have kept one of them on Raw, one of them on SmackDown, forgot they were ever with Paige to begin with, maybe make reference to it once in a while, but like not like this. And here it's overt. It's like so obvious that, oh, well, there's Absolution. Aren't they missing somebody? Oh, it's the GM of the show that they're on. I would have liked for them to make a clean break from Absolution, from Paige, because it's over. Kind of like how I thought Daniel Bryan would go to Raw, just so that we don't think of him as the SmackDown GM guy anymore. Hopefully that's starting to fade, but I think a move over to Raw would have been good, not only for Daniel Bryan, but for Raw. Like, Raw needs a guy like Daniel Bryan. Who's the best wrestler on Raw right now? I guess Sammy and Kevin. They're the two best guys. I feel bad for them, though. Like, if I'm Sammy and Kevin, I look over at SmackDown, I'm like, man, we could have some pretty awesome matches with the guys over there. What are we going to do over here?
You say that, but they've wrestled AJ and Nakamura plenty of times.
How about Daniel Bryan?
They got him at WrestleMania, at least.
Yeah.
There's a return match. That was kind of cool. Samoa Joe, they're both heels, so it's not going to really happen, more than likely. So it makes sense them on Raw. It gives them a fresh start. Something new, something different for them. I'm looking forward to it. And now that The Miz got booted to SmackDown, maybe they're going to do something with the Miztourage.
Like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn with the Miztourage?
Didn't they say they were going to be like a new NWO at first?
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I like that group, like a giant group. I don't really like it led by The Miz, but maybe led by Sami and Kevin. They kind of run Bo and Curtis Axel as their sidekicks.
They need something because Raw has so much now. After you saw that 10-man tag, like so much talent's on Raw.
The 10-man tag, which was what? The main event of Raw, right?
That's correct. You saw Bobby Roode made his debut on Raw now, too.
Yeah, Bobby Roode's on Raw. How exciting. The only Bobby I care about on Raw is Bobby Lashley.
He was in the match, too.
Can we go back to calling him Robert Roode?
Robert Roode.
Didn't he used to be Robert Roode?
I want to say in like the early TNA days. But
yeah.
That's about it.
Beer Money! Remember Beer Money?
I remember. Everyone remembers that, I think.
They're a good tag team, Beer Money.
It was the best part of Bobby Roode.
A lot of TNA action going on in WWE these days. Have you noticed? Like, Bobby Roode and Bobby Lashley are on a team. Samoa Joe's on SmackDown calling out AJ Styles. A lot of TNA stuff. And you know what? I love Joe and AJ on the same brand. Can I just say that? I just love that they're together again because their matches in TNA were some of the greatest matches in the history of wrestling.
With Christopher Daniels.
With Christopher Daniels, of course. But the magic that Joe and AJ can create should be put on the big stage of the WWE. Joe and AJ for the WWE title, one-on-one, is something that should happen. Their matches have been so good everywhere else. They haven't done it in WWE. It should happen. And when it does, when you see Joe and AJ standing in the ring across from each other, it's going to be special. It's going to be like, man, this is what these guys were meant to do. This is just, it's perfect. It's a rivalry that never gets old. It's a long-standing rivalry. It's a great story. They've wrestled each other all around the world. They come to the WWE. They meet up again. The matches are always incredible between the two. I just love it. I love that Joe and AJ now is a possibility because it's a great match and they deserve to do it in the WWE.
Well, he talked about AJ, and he said
Yes, he did.
He's pretty much coming after him. But he's got some business first before that. First, he's going to be wrestling for the IC title at the greatest Royal Rumble ever. So is he going to be IC champion? Are they going to switch the belts again?
I don't know.
Because I imagine Jinder's going to get a title match at the greatest Royal Rumble, right?
He is. It will be Jinder versus Jeff Hardy one-on-one.
So Jinder could win the title. It goes back to Raw, and maybe Joe wins the IC championship and brings it to SmackDown.
Here's a thought. Why doesn't Joe win the Intercontinental Championship, bring it to SmackDown, but Jeff doesn't lose the U.S. title?
This why?
I'll tell you why. To keep things less predictable. Because everybody assumes, well, if the U.S. title is on SmackDown, the Intercontinental title has to be on Raw, right?
Right.
Backlash and every pay-per-view going forward will have both Raw and SmackDown wrestlers on it. The days of the one-branded pay-per-view are, as Matt Hardy would say, over! So, if we no longer have separate pay-per-views, we can have more intermingling of the two brands and the two rosters. So why not have the titles move from one show to another on a consistent basis? I'm not saying, drop the title here or there, like constant, like the hardcore title where you have, 20 champions in a month. I'm not saying that, obviously. But I'm saying, why not have the Intercontinental title and U.S. title on SmackDown for a couple months until somebody from Raw says, look, we need to bring the title back to Raw and blah, and then we have a match and they bring it back to Raw. There are things that can be done now that we have the two branded pay-per-views that can make the WWE more exciting, less predictable, and make the championships mean more. Because if the SmackDown brand has the U.S. and Intercontinental titles, somebody on Raw is going to say, hey, we need to get those titles back. We need to get one of those belts back. All of a sudden, the title will be something to fight for, to strive for, to try and bring back the pride of the title belt to your brand. Cesaro and Sheamus, The Bar, are wrestling Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt for the Raw Tag Team Championships at the Greatest Royal Rumble. The Raw Tag Team Championships. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are still on the Raw brand. The Bar has moved to SmackDown. Does anybody think The Bar is going to win the Raw Tag Team titles in that match against Bray and Matt? I mean, they're already on SmackDown. Why would the WWE even do this? Why would they tell you that The Bar is going to SmackDown? They weren't even on the show. They did a little backstage promo saying, "We're coming to SmackDown, fella." And that was it. Couldn't you have waited like a week? Do the Greatest Royal Rumble, do Matt and Bray versus The Bar for the Raw Tag Team titles, and then announce that The Bar is going to SmackDown after they lose the match? Because right now I'm looking at that match saying, well, they're wrestling for titles that are called Raw. They're Raw Tag Team titles, and they're on SmackDown, so they're not going to win. But wouldn't it be fun if they did? Wouldn't it be fun if they did? All of a sudden, the Raw Tag Team titles are on SmackDown, and now like a Raw team has to challenge the Raw Tag Team champions, The Bar, at the next pay-per-view, at Backlash. Like, have Bray and Matt get cheated out of the win at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Have the Raw Tag Team champions on SmackDown for 1 week, and then at Backlash, have Bray and Matt win the match, take the Raw Tag Team titles back to Raw.
It's an idea.
It makes it less predictable. It makes it less boring. And it's like, it's fun, you know? You move the titles here and there. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if in like a couple months, like Roman Reigns, like he couldn't beat Brock Lesnar or whatever, challenges AJ Styles, beats him, takes the WWE title, brings it to Raw. And then all of a sudden SmackDown's like, we need to get our title back. So they throw like AJ back at Roman, AJ can't beat him. They throw Shinsuke at Roman, Shinsuke can't beat him. And they throw, Jeff Hardy at Roman and Jeff beats him or something, I'm not saying that that's what you do, but I'm saying that there are ways to keep it fresh. There are ways to not be so predictable with your titles. And I think it would be fun if you did that, because what's the point of having these dual-branded pay-per-views if you're not going to work with them a little bit, if you're not going to keep it interesting, keep it fresh?
Well, I think the idea first with the dual brand is that you're just going to see Raw and SmackDown the same, but it's not Raw versus SmackDown. It's still Raw versus Raw and SmackDown versus SmackDown. They just happen to be on the same pay-per-view.
Well, I don't think that's the way you should go. I think Raw versus SmackDown, in some cases, is a good idea. I don't think Raw versus SmackDown, like every pay-per-view, like it's a Raw versus SmackDown thing. It makes no sense, obviously, because they have Raw, they have SmackDown, they're separate on their TV shows, and they're going to be building angles within those TV shows to blow off at the pay-per-view, right?
Right.
But once in a while, when it makes sense, do Raw versus SmackDown. Do it. If you have a tag team that's like say the Bludgeon Brothers, they beat everybody on SmackDown, and then, Bray Wyatt's like, I know those guys, I know the Bludgeon Brothers, we're going to take them out. And then him and Matt wrestle them on a pay-per-view. Like, there are things that you can do that would make sense to have Raw versus SmackDown matches. And in some of those cases, you could change the titles around from one brand to the other. Because in the case of The Bar versus Bray and Matt for the Raw Tag Team titles, it's all too predictable that Bray and Matt are going to be the new Raw Tag Team champions. Because you've already told me that The Bar is going to SmackDown. So why not swerve the audience, keep it fresh, have The Bar win at the Greatest Royal Rumble, have them be the Raw Tag Team champions again, and then have them lose the following week at Backlash. It would show the audience that, hey, we know that The Bar's on SmackDown, but they're taking those Raw Tag Team titles to SmackDown. Shows the audience that anything can happen. And you got to pay attention. You got to stay tuned. You can't skip any of these matches because they're all important, and you never know what they might do.
Well, here's my problem with your idea.
Uh-oh.
We've already had 3 title changes since WrestleMania. And
Really? Have we?
We've had 3 title changes.
SmackDown Women's title, the U.S. title.
And Braun and Nicholas dropped the Raw titles.
Does that even count?
When it's vacant, yeah. It's vacant who's won the title more times than any time.
Yeah.
So, and you're going into this pay-per-view, which is pretty much like a Night of Champions, where almost every title is defended.
At the Greatest Royal Rumble, every title will be defended.
Well, not the women's, but yes.
Except the women's titles, yeah.
So, more than likely, you're going to have a lot of title changes. Maybe you have at least one guaranteed, right? Because there's no Raw Tag Team Champions right now.
Yeah, you will have new Raw Tag Team Champions, which will be probably Matt and Bray.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we get another title change throughout that show. More than likely, it looks like Roman will beat Brock Lesnar, right?
Wow, that's what I was saying last week, but you were not on board. You think Roman Reigns will be beating Brock Lesnar in the steel cage to become the new Universal Champion?
He shouldn't, but it really seems like they're going down this road. It's kind of weird. Like, Roman couldn't win in a singles match at the biggest pay-per-view yet. He'll win in a steel cage match in Saudi Arabia for some reason. It's weird, but it seems like that's what's going to happen because Brock, he just extended his contract just for another couple of dates.
Is that it?
That's what it seems.
It's hard to tell with Brock Lesnar. It's hard to tell. I want to preview the Greatest Royal Rumble. I want to try and give you our prediction on who's going to win the Greatest Royal Rumble and if it'll mean anything at all. Does it even matter? We got to take a short pause here on TSN 690. We will preview the Greatest Royal Rumble. John Cena versus Triple H. And The Undertaker versus... what's changed again from last week. We'll tell you. Stay with us.
What's going on, y'all? This is WWE Superstar Kofi Kingston, and you're listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
Hey, this is Antonio Cesaro, and you're listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
Hey, this is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and you are listening to Wrestling Uncensored.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. Here on TSN 690 every Saturday night. Follow us on Twitter. Follow me at Dave Simon MMA. Follow the big man at North Genesis for all his wrestling matches and wrestling bookings. If you want to book him, check him out on Twitter at North Genesis. And, of course, we will be live on Twitter, live tweeting during the Greatest Royal Rumble this coming Friday afternoon. Friday at noon is when the big network event in Saudi Arabia will kick off. The Undertaker in a casket match. At first it was against Rusev, and then they changed it to Chris Jericho, and now back to Rusev.
Well, I still think Taker's going to win. It doesn't matter who the opponent is.
How could Taker win on Rusev Day?
Who doesn't win on Rusev Day besides Rusev?
Yeah, Rusev never wins on Rusev Day. Rusev loses a lot. I think it's kind of weird, though, right? Like, they took the match away from Rusev, and then they just gave it back to him. I wonder what happened here. Maybe my theory, just a theory, throwing it out there, my theory is Jericho said, okay, well, what kind of match am I going to have with Taker? And they're like, yeah, chokeslam, tombstone, he's going to roll you into the casket. It's a squash. Jericho's like, well, I want to have a match. And I was like, nah, Taker can't have a match. Did you see his match with Cena at Mania? No, I didn't see his match with Cena at Mania. What am I watching that for, you idiot? So they're like, yeah, Jericho, you're going to get squashed. And Jericho's like, I don't want to get squashed. What am I coming back for to get squashed? I'm going all the way to Saudi Arabia to get squashed? Forget that. And they're like, all right, Rusev, you down to get squashed? He's like, yes, I am down to get squashed. So that's why they put Rusev back in. Because when they actually presented the match to Jericho, he was like, what am I doing that for? Because if you think about it, like, they weren't going to have a 10, 20-minute match. They were going to have, like, a 3-minute deal. Taker was going to beat him quick, and then that was going to be it. And if I'm Chris Jericho, I don't know if I want to go all the way to Saudi Arabia for that.
Well, wait for his next book. I'm sure he'll reveal the whole story.
Hopefully.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you're not far off from what it actually is, actually.
If I know Jericho, and I think I do, I'm one of his biggest fans. Listen to his podcast all the time. I think that's exactly what happened. It's just not worth it for him to go all the way there just to lose in 2 minutes. And they're like, well, Cena lost in 2 minutes. Yeah, so what? So what?
But he is still going to be in the Greatest Royal Rumble, though.
Yes, Jericho will be there. So will Rey Mysterio. So will Daniel Bryan. So will many, many wrestlers. It will be a 50-man Royal Rumble. That's why they're calling it the Greatest Royal Rumble, because it will be the most populated Royal Rumble ever. The most guys in one Rumble. 50. They did a 40-man Rumble a few years back that Alberto Del Rio won, but this will be the 50-man Rumble, the biggest one ever. Will Del Rio be in it?
They'll mention they had a 40. They won't mention that Del Rio won it.
I don't think they will either. Wouldn't it be crazy if Del Rio was in it?
Well, he left Impact, so it's not impossible.
Who's winning?
If I had to bet on it, I'd say Braun.
I'd say Daniel Bryan.
Wow.
He's in it, right?
He is in it.
Shouldn't he win? He should win everything he's in right now. Everything.
When you're feuding with Big Cass, I don't know if you're winning the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Okay. That pissed me off more than anything this week. Nothing made me more angry than Big Cass and Daniel Bryan. This is what you're doing to Daniel Bryan? I'm so mad. I can't even contain myself right now. I'm so upset, Johnny North. Last week, I talked about Daniel Bryan's return. I'm trying to stay calm here. I'm really upset. I talked about Daniel Bryan's return. He's back, okay? One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. The second coming of Shawn Michaels. The man. The best guy in the company. He comes back. And in your first match on SmackDown, you put him up against AJ Styles. Terrific. His first match at WrestleMania. He's teaming with Shane McMahon. He takes on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Amazing. And then, this week on SmackDown, Big Cass comes back from injury like anybody cares. Anybody miss Big Cass? I miss Enzo. I don't miss Big Cass. Big Cass shows up, and he's like, "Oh, Daniel Bryan, you're a little guy." And then in the main event of SmackDown, it's Bryan and AJ against Rusev and Aiden English. And Shinsuke hits a low blow on AJ, and Big Cass comes in and hits a big boot on Daniel Bryan, and it's a disqualification. That's how SmackDown ends. Daniel Bryan has been taken away from us twice due to injury. This last time was concussion-related, and it seemed like the end of his career. When Daniel Bryan came back to the WWE, all I wanted to see was dream matches against wrestlers who knew how to wrestle and were going to be safe in the ring with Daniel Bryan. AJ Styles is a consummate professional. Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy. There are guys in the WWE on SmackDown that would have incredible matches with Daniel Bryan and keep him safe. Big Cass is green as grass and cannot have good matches or keep him safe. How dare you, WWE, put Daniel Bryan in the ring with a big green oaf like Big Cass? Get him out of my face. No Big Cass. No more Big Cass. And he better not beat Daniel Bryan. He better not beat Daniel Bryan. Because I will go berserk. I will go insane. And guess what, WWE? You're coming to my hometown real soon. SmackDown will be here. Raw will be here. And I will be amped up, to say the least. And if you give me any kind of Big Cass on SmackDown, well, Big Cass, brother, you're going to hear it from me. I don't want this. I don't want Daniel Bryan in the ring with a guy like Big Cass. He deserves better. We deserve better. This is the first program you're putting Daniel Bryan in? He comes back. He is a freaking superhero. He is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest wrestlers to ever step into a ring. And you put him up against Big Cass? That's like making Bret Hart lose to Diesel. It's stupid. Should never happen. Should never have happened. It's a bad move. But it's the WWE, and it's what they do. I'm sickened by this. I'm so mad. Big Cass. That's what you're doing with Daniel Bryan. Big Cass? It's ridiculous. The guy does not belong in a ring with Daniel Bryan. He doesn't. And I get you want to elevate the guys, you want to make new stars, you want to That's not what you do with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is a star. You don't need to make new stars off the back of Daniel Bryan. You need to keep elevating Daniel Bryan because he's the man. You need to give me Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles for the WWE title. What are you delaying this stuff for? You need to give me Bryan, Shinsuke, AJ in a 3-way at Backlash. If you want to throw Big Cass in there and make it a 4-way, fine. Fine. But keep Big Cass away from Daniel Bryan. Keep him away. Honestly, keep him away from the main event altogether. Don't give me Big Cass in a 4-way. Because he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't belong there. He's not good. He can't cut a promo. He can't really wrestle. He's tall. He's not even that jacked. Braun Strowman's tall and jacked. And his promos are better. And his look is better. And his wrestling is better. Braun Strowman is a 10 times better version of Big Cass. That's why Braun Strowman's on Raw, and they threw Big Cass on SmackDown, because they knew if he was on Raw, he would look stupid next to Braun Strowman, because he's just not that intimidating. Big Cass is about as good as Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin ain't no good.
And this is one of the main reasons why SmackDown, in my opinion, lost the shake-up.
Because they have to deal with Big Cass.
Well, they have to deal with the fact that it seems like they're trying to push the new stars from NXT, and they mingle with the main event guys, where Raw is just like overloaded with talent. So that's why I find like Raw's more, to me on paper, looks like it's going to be a more entertaining show.
I don't know about that. I think there's more talent on SmackDown. Andrade Cien Almas, speaking of NXT, former NXT champion, he is going to SmackDown. Did a little promo. He's going to show up in the next couple of weeks on SmackDown. That's another great talent that I would not mind putting in the ring with Daniel Bryan. But not Big Cass. Big Cass? Are you kidding me? Give me Enzo back. I'd rather Enzo. Hey, by the way, Big Cass and Carmella broke up. I wonder what that's like now on the same brand. You know what's funny is that Big Cass and Carmella, when they were a couple, they were on different brands.
Yeah.
Big Cass got hurt. Something happened. They broke up. Now they're on the same brand. Awkward.
Well, for them, WWE, they don't plan it like that. They just plan it like, we have a story, we have an idea, an arc set up for this character, and this is what we're going to do. They're in a relationship. Too bad.
By the way, that Carmella promo, the Mellabration, not good. You can skip those long Carmella promos, okay? We don't need to see Carmella in a ring for 10 minutes talking. And then Charlotte comes out and cuts a promo. That was not good. You know who cuts good promos, though? Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. They're not bad. They're not bad. They're entertaining. They're better than Carmella and Charlotte.
The match wasn't that great, though. Not the best wrestling match, for sure.
No.
On Raw was a lot better. Natty went to Raw, and that's a lot more interesting, actually.
Natty with Ronda Rousey. I told you. I said that last week, did I not?
You did.
I said Natty was the one that should be in there with Ronda. If she has a one-on-one match or a tag team match or whatever, Natty involved with Ronda is the best way to do it, because Natty is the best wrestler that they have in the women's division, and they need somebody to help Ronda along. And Natty is the perfect person to do that. Great move by the WWE, moving Natty over to Raw. She beat Mandy Rose with a sharpshooter. Sonya and Mandy attacked Natty after the match, but then Ronda Rousey making the save. Sonya tried to get some of Ronda. That did not work out too well. Ronda hitting her with some punches and a trip takedown that was just devastating. Ronda is so rough. I like that Sonya tried to get in there and mix it up with Ronda, but it didn't work out so well for her. It looked like it hurt.
Well, that was going to be her only opportunity, right? Because they went to SmackDown, so make the most of what you had right there, because that's it.
Yeah, that's it. That was her big shot, and there it goes. Speaking of a big shot, Breezango is now on Raw, and they beat The Bar this week. It makes sense because, you know, Breezango, they're new on Raw. You want to push them. You want to give them a good first impression. And The Bar is leaving Raw. They're going to SmackDown, so you lose on your way out. It does make sense, but it was kind of surprising to see The Bar a team that was so dominant for so long, lose to Breezango, who basically were jobbers on SmackDown.
I don't know if it's really going to change that much. Maybe we're going to see them more on Raw, because it seems they were more on YouTube than they were on SmackDown, which was kind of unfortunate. But if you look at the Raw tag division, I don't see their position changing much. Authors of Pain, The Revival, Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, I don't see Breezango beating any of those teams.
It's not that deep a division, though. They're going to be in the mix more than they were on SmackDown. I mean, on SmackDown, there's way more competition. The New Day, the Usos, the Bludgeon Brothers. Now the Bar on SmackDown. SmackDown's got a great tag team division.
Yeah, more so than Raw, without question. But
Yeah.
still, I don't see Breezango moving up, though. I'd be very surprised. The promos have to get over. That's what's going to help them.
Well, they're not going to be the top babyface tag team because Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy are the top babyface tag team.
The promos have to get over. If they get over enough, they'll get a push.
What does Bobby Lashley do from now on?
Hopefully talk. He hasn't really done anything besides come out and that's it.
He looks really good on Raw.
He looks good, but they aren't doing anything with him, though.
He teamed up with Braun Strowman, Bobby Roode, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor to beat Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, The Miz, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. Braun hitting a power slam on Miz for the win. I like that Bobby Lashley is on Raw. I feel like in the past month, the WWE has increased their star potential tremendously. Getting Daniel Bryan and Bobby Lashley back in your company on the road on a regular basis is huge for the WWE, and it cannot be understated. It is such a big deal that Bobby Lashley and Daniel Bryan are back. Like, Daniel Bryan is a huge deal, but Bobby Lashley is too. I feel like Bobby's flying under the radar. They're not making a huge deal out of Bobby Lashley yet, but the guy has the potential to be a main eventer, to have incredible matches, to be a big moneymaker for the WWE. It is great to see him back on Raw. He is one of the shining lights of the WWE right now. You think about what they have and where they're going. The roster right now, both on Raw and SmackDown, some of the most stacked rosters you've ever seen in the WWE. The talent that they have right now is incredible. Incredible. I mean, just the fact that they have Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, and Shinsuke Nakamura on one show tells you that they are in a very good spot for talent. Very good. That's why you don't need to use Big Cass. You don't need him, okay? Forget about Big Cass. He's completely useless to you. He's not talented. He's not good. Get rid of him. Also, Baron Corbin while you're at it. And Randy if you want to, but I understand you like Randy, so keep Randy around. Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy is probably going to happen, and it'll probably be great because Jeff Hardy is amazing.
They had a really good match at the Rumble. I want to say it was in 2009, maybe 2008.
They've had good matches together. They work well together, and I feel like Jeff might have been brought over to SmackDown at the request of Randy Orton. I want to work with Jeff, and they brought him over.
Well, I think
Randy is a big deal in the company, and if he wants something, he can get it for the most part.
I think the whole idea of just Jeff being a single star, it works because he's on the same show with Matt. People are going to be like, oh, why aren't you with Matt? So they don't explain that. There's some different shows.
I love him as a single star. I loved seeing him win the U.S. title this week. Fantastic.
It was a great way to start this all off. Made it kind of seem like it was a huge deal. And it was because he went to SmackDown, so it really changed things up again.
Very happy to see that with Jeff Hardy. And he's got the potential to be a main eventer as well.
Yeah, him and AJ Styles. I mean, it's happened before in TNA, but never in WWE, so why not? It was a good match then.
But what do we do with Bobby Lashley? Like, he's interesting right now because there's no real direction for him and there's no clear-cut path for him. I guess he'll be in the Greatest Royal Rumble, but if you were to book him in a one-on-one match for Backlash, what would you do?
It's really tough.
Him and Braun Strowman is going to be big. Him and Roman Reigns is going to be big, but I feel like all those guys are baby faces. They're on the same side. They're not really on a collision course. But those would be the matches that would be, I think, the biggest right now for Bobby Lashley, right? Roman and Braun, those would be the matches where people would be most excited.
Well, he showed up by attacking Elias, so I guess have that match, get that done over with. I could see him and Baron Corbin probably for a pay-per-view. And then, yeah, you start getting into like Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, maybe even Seth Rollins.
Probably not Brock Lesnar.
Unfortunately.
That was a match that a lot of people wanted to see, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time around. But you never know. Will Roman Reigns take the Universal Championship from Brock Lesnar this Friday at the Greatest Royal Rumble inside a steel cage? I believe he will. Roman said it on Raw. You know, if I keep facing Brock Lesnar for the Universal title, the end of the story is going to be me with the Universal Championship. He told you what's going to happen. At WrestleMania, the fans would have rejected Roman winning the title. But in Saudi Arabia, they will be a lot more willing to accept Roman. The crowd will be a lot more pro-Roman. They'll be a lot less subversive than they are at WrestleMania. The English fans have not traveled from England to Saudi Arabia like they do for WrestleMania. The hardcore fans are not going to be in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be the Saudi Arabian fans. And they will cheer Roman, and they will be happy when he wins the title. And I believe he will win the title. And that may be the end of Brock Lesnar. That may be the last we see of Brock for a little while. Maybe forever. Brock Lesnar will be on Raw Monday night. Could be his last appearance on Raw.
It's really hard to judge this because WrestleMania, it seemed like for sure Roman was going to win, but no, that didn't happen. So now you always have that bit of doubt, like maybe Brock is just going to be champion all the way up to next year's WrestleMania.
You think they're going to keep Brock Lesnar as a champion for 2 years? Really?
Who else are you going to give it to?
Roman.
It's really the only course, right? So if you don't do it now, why are you waiting so long?
If you don't do it now, are you ever going to do it? If you don't do it now, when do you take the title off Brock Lesnar? SummerSlam? Bobby Lashley, maybe?
I'd like that.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah. I don't see it happening, though. I feel like Roman will take the title.
Yeah, it seems like it, because there'd be hints of, like, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley. Maybe we'll get some hints this Monday, but unless we see that, I see Roman walking away as champion. More than likely, he'll just escape the cage if that's the case. If he can win like that, he'll do that.
I think he will. I don't think he pins Brock. I don't think any of that happens. I think he just escapes the cage. And that'll be that.
It won't
But
end the show.
if I'm the WWE and this is Brock's last shot, I want Roman going over clean, though. I want Roman pinning him.
But it's not the main event because, without question, the 50-man Royal Rumble has to be the main event.
Does it? Undertaker's on this card.
Yeah, but if it's going to be a casket match, if it's going to be anything like what we saw with Cena at WrestleMania, it can just be wherever in the card.
I agree. So, we both think Roman Reigns is going to be the new Universal Champion on Friday. That's big. That's real big.
Oh, it's about time when you think about it.
AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. I think AJ will retain, though.
Probably another low blow kind of finish. This is going to end here.
No, it's not over here. They're going to wrestle at Backlash again, too, right? Do they switch it up for Backlash, though? Backlash is only a week after this thing. Backlash is really an afterthought because the whole build is for this Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and then they're going to have 1 week of TV to build Backlash. That 1 week of TV, by the way, will be here in Montreal. So get ready for them building Backlash really heavy when they do Raw and SmackDown here.
Well, as long as you deliver the matches. I mean, yes, you get AJ versus Nakamura at the Greatest Royal Rumble, but what if we get AJ versus Nakamura versus Daniel Bryan? Maybe versus Big Cass. Maybe we get that. Who knows? You'd be happy with that, no?
Don't slide Big Cass in there. Get Big
It
Cass.
just makes sense with the storyline.
A four-way match that I am excited for, the ladder match for the Intercontinental title, could steal the show. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and The Miz.
Oh, without question.
Wow. I think Seth retains, though.
You don't think The Miz or Samoa Joe bring the title to SmackDown?
No.
Yeah, I agree.
And I also think that Jeff Hardy will retain the U.S. title and beat Jinder Mahal. I believe that Seth will keep the Intercontinental title on Raw, and Jeff will keep the U.S. title on SmackDown, despite the fact that I think it would be cool if, Joe won the Intercontinental title and brought it to SmackDown as well, and we had 2 titles on SmackDown, 2 mid-card titles.
So the ladder match is like a tag match, almost.
Why?
Well, you got 2 members from Raw and 2 members from SmackDown, so they're going to have it work like that for a little bit, I imagine.
Yeah, but they all individually want to win the title, right?
Well, eventually.
It's not like they really have that brand pride, It's not like Joe and Miz are like, look, either you or me win this thing, I don't care, as long as we bring that IC title to the blue brand. That's not how it works. It's not like Seth and Finn are like, let's team up. We got to do it for Raw.
I can
Seth
see,
wants to retain,
I could see Seth and Finn actually do that, though.
Let's do it for Raw.
They would, actually.
They're such cheap baby faces.
Monday Night Rollins, right?
Oh, my God. So lame. Seth Rollins. Like, I don't mind him in the IC title picture, though, because he's like mid-card. He's a good wrestler. It's where he belongs. It's fine.
Hey, this match could be the best match on the show, so.
Yeah. It should be. AJ and Nakamura could be, though. Every time they're in the ring together, it could be the best match on the show, right?
Well, now we have a different dynamic, because now Nakamura is finally a heel, and that was the thing that was lacking in their match, was that there wasn't heat. You didn't really want to see one or the other lose, really, so it took away from the match. Now you want AJ to win, so it could make it a lot more interesting.
I think it will be a lot more interesting. Bray and Matt against Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team titles. Obviously, Bray and Matt will win, the deleters of worlds.
They should, but that swerve idea that you talked about, why not? The Bar win and they lose it back at Backlash. I could see that.
I wouldn't mind that.
But I think probably Bray and Matt, yeah.
Yeah, well, keep it creative. Have the Bar win, but I don't think they're going to do that. The Bludgeon Brothers taking on the Usos for the SmackDown tag titles. The Bludgeon Brothers beating up the Usos on SmackDown this week. Jimmy Uso taking a beating. Naomi coming out, his real-life wife, begging the Bludgeon Brothers not to beat him any further. It was an odd moment.
I'm surprised they stopped. They didn't even go after her. Like, come on, like these guys are supposed to be monsters.
I really like that Eric Rowan wanted to keep going. Eric Rowan's like, whatever, let's hit her with a hammer. And Luke Harper's like, no, let's go. That's enough. And Rowan's like, you sure? And Harper's like, yeah, we'll get him later. Don't worry about it. I like that there was a little bit of, like, Rowan saying, let's get him. And Harper's like, no, we'll wait. That was good. It was a good little moment between the two. I like Harper and Rowan. I think they're good. I think the match against the Usos, once again, could steal the show. Anytime you have the Usos against the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, they could steal the show. They have had incredible matches together that have stolen pay-per-views before. Pre-show matches that have stolen the show.
It's awkward that they use Naomi because they can't use her here. It's very weird.
It is weird. No women on this card in Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia. Because of Saudi Arabia. Quite a country. The Undertaker takes on Rusev on Rusev Day in a casket match. This will be a squizosh. Taker will destroy Rusev, toss him in a casket, and that'll be it. Bury him softly, brother.
What's going to be longer, the match or the entrance?
Entrance. Taker's entrance will be much longer than the match, as it was at WrestleMania.
Well, given the set, yes. But this set, I don't know.
We don't know what the set's going to be. I'm sure it'll be elaborate.
I don't know if it'll be as elaborate as WrestleMania was, though. I don't know. I'll say the match is longer than the entrance. John
Cena versus Triple H. How long will that match be? That's a match that I'm curious about. What are they going to do there? Who's going to win? I figure Cena. Cena wins, but I'm wondering how long it goes, and I'm wondering what they do. When's the last time we saw John Cena, Triple H, one-on-one?
I want to say it was Night of Champions, 2009 or something like that.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
This is interesting. This might be the last time you ever see John Cena and Triple H one-on-one. Why would they ever do it again? They're getting so old. Triple H nearly 50 at this point. Like, at a certain point, it's over, right? This might be it. This might be the last time you see John Cena one-on-one in a ring with Triple H. And this will be the first time you see John Cena since the breakup with Nikki Bella.
Well, I don't think that's going to play much into this match whatsoever. And I'm not really looking forward to this match. I don't have expectations, so this might actually be a pretty decent match because I don't really expect much from it.
I expect it to be good. I expect it to be good. You have Triple H and John Cena, two of the greatest of all time. I mean, they're not in their prime anymore, but my goodness. It's a big match. Just the name value alone, it's huge. It could main event any card the WWE puts on. Any card the WWE has, if you had John Cena Triple H as the main event, you'd say, yep, that seems about right. And I'm not talking about any card in 2018. I'm talking about any card in the past 20 years. You could main event with John Cena and Triple H, and you'd be like, yeah, that makes that makes sense. Maybe not 20 years, but 15 at least, right?
Well, that's probably why they got paid to do the shows. Like they wanted that match. It's one of the reasons.
It's a big match. They get that. They get The Undertaker. This is a huge card. In some ways, it's bigger than WrestleMania.
It's a nice little WrestleMania revenge kind of event that they used to do back in the day. They used to make them kind of huge. It's like, wow, this is cool. Like after WrestleMania kind of thing, this happens.
Give me 3 predictions on who's going to win the Greatest Royal Rumble. We haven't really seen many promos about this match. We don't know if anybody wins anything. If they win this match, like there's nothing on the line, really. I'm going to give you my 3 picks. Daniel Bryan, Bobby Lashley, and, I'll throw Braun Strowman in there.
Well, I think Braun Strowman's my first pick without question.
Okay, I got Daniel Bryan as my first pick.
I would go with Bobby Lashley, number 2. And number 3...
Say Daniel Bryan. Just do my picks in a different order.
No. Not Daniel Bryan. Sorry. I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to win.
How dare you?
Too bad.
You're such a jerk.
I'll go with the Big Show. Because the Big Show is on the graphic for this.
Is he going to be in the Greatest Rumble?
I hope so. He's supposed to be.
Well, hell yeah. I love the Big Show. I'm glad to see him back if he's in this. Is Mark Henry going to be in this thing?
I don't know. Kane has been pulled from the Rumble.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
Because I guess his election's coming up soon.
Oh. Yeah, maybe it's not good for a guy who's trying to run for election in the United States to do a wrestling match in Saudi Arabia. I don't know.
Well, if he looks all beat up, probably not.
Yeah, I wonder politically what that means, like how that works.
It worked in the past for a lot of people, so.
All right. Well, that's very exciting stuff. The Greatest Royal Rumble. I'm hyped. We're going to be on Twitter during the Rumble. We're going to be on YouTube a little bit during the Rumble. Once again, it's a noon start time on Friday afternoon, Friday, April 27th at noon. And just a little note for you guys in Montreal. If you were hoping on seeing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, well, Raw would be the place to go because Monday Night Raw is where they are. Of course, Kevin and Sami are from here in Montreal. They will be on Raw because that's the brand that they're on. But fear not, if you only have tickets for SmackDown, they have been advertised for the dark match main event. So there should be a main event just for the crowd featuring AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens in a fatal 4-way for the WWE title. So don't worry, Montreal wrestling fans. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be on both shows. So if you're paying to see Kevin and Sami, which I know a lot of you are, you get to see them on Raw and SmackDown, which is great for me because I'm going to both, and I love seeing those guys.
It makes you wonder how they're going to be used on Raw because they're going to get a positive reaction, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're heels, so I wonder.
Could they be the new Raw Tag Team Champions?
Good luck. I don't know about that right now.
Why not?
The fact that they just shoehorn the fact they're back on Raw, it kind of makes me feel like they're not that important. They should be, but it doesn't seem like they're that high on the totem pole right now.
It doesn't feel like they're a real tag team. Because, like, they liked each other, then they didn't like each other, but now they're kind of forced to like each other again. It doesn't feel like they're a real tag team. If you put the belts on them, they'd feel more real as a tag team in the tag team division. Right now, it feels like they're two singles guys that hang out together, but they're not really... Like, they don't really have a place. They're kind of a tag team, but they're kind of not. That's why they're in this limbo. Because they're not really individuals, but they're not really a team either. They're just guys. So why not give them the Miz Taraj as their backup, make them the new tag team champions, and have everybody else chase them? Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, at some point in their wrestling careers, should win WWE tag team titles together. It would be so cool for them. They deserve it. They've been around the world together. They've grown up together. They've been in the WWE now together. They've teamed up at WrestleMania. I'm sure it is another thing on their dream bucket list to win tag team titles together. It should happen at least once. Why not now?
Yeah, I'd love to see it happen. I just have a hard time believing that's going to happen. They lost so many matches leading up to WrestleMania, and then they lost at WrestleMania. Like, this 50-50 booking, it doesn't apply to them, apparently. So, until that starts to flip on their side, it's hard for me to get behind this idea that they're going to be champions.
Yeah, I understand. They have not been pushed very strongly. It's disappointing. They could do a lot more with Kevin and Sami. Hopefully that happens on Raw, because they are the two best guys on Raw. Like on SmackDown, when they were there, they had competition. They had AJ Styles. They had Nakamura. They had Daniel Bryan. Now that they're on Raw, who's their competition for the best wrestler? Samoa Joe's not even on Raw. Like, I guess Finn Balor's in there. But, like, it's those guys and Finn. As far as the best workers on Raw, it's Sami, it's Kevin, it's Finn. Those are the guys. Who else is any good on that show?
Well, I think Bobby Lashley's pretty good.
He's all right. But, like, he's not Sami Zayn. And he's not Kevin Owens. Like, he's good. I like him. I'm a fan. But, like, he's no AJ Styles. Let's be honest here.
No, but he's different, though. I mean, he doesn't offer that kind of style.
No, he's a different type of wrestler. I'm not saying he's bad. He's good. I like Bobby Lashley. I was talking about how much I like him before, but he hasn't had those classic matches.
Far and few between, I find, when he's had really good matches. And again, I find a lot of his good stuff. He got really good in TNA, and a lot of people didn't see that. So
he's got to prove himself now.
He will in time. It's just, he needs those opportunities now.
Johnny North, when can people get the opportunity to see you in the ring?
It's going to be a few hours from now, this Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
At 2 p.m. I'm wrestling for the NWA British Commonwealth Championship. Big match against Alex North. Bell time's 2 p.m. Tickets are $5. 4325 Industrial Boulevard.
Johnny North versus Alex North.
Yep.
You're going to take that belt home?
That's the plan.
Hell yeah. Follow him on Twitter at North Genesis. Follow me at Dave Simon MMA. WrestlingUncensored.net is our website. Go download all our podcasts. Check us out on iTunes. Subscribe to our iTunes feed. That way all the podcasts get downloaded automatically to your device. It's very easy. Wrestling Uncensored, Ringside Report Radio. Everything gets downloaded to your iTunes feed. Go subscribe. Leave us a comment, a 5-star review. Check us out. We're on Google Play as well, wherever you get your podcast. TuneIn Radio. We're everywhere. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net with the .net spelled out, Ringside Report, DOTNET. Not only do we have all our podcasts up at ringsidereport.net on the website, but also on our YouTube channel. So not only do we have the podcast on our YouTube channel, but we have bonus videos, like the world-famous Wrestling Uncensored pre-show, the video version, available exclusively on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. And be sure to tune into our YouTube channel and our Twitter feeds at North Genesis, at Dave Simon MMA this Friday, because we will be live during the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. A huge week of professional wrestling. I'll probably jump in and do a little New Japan podcast this week as well, because Japan is on and popping. So much happening in the world of wrestling, and we're here for you every step of the way. I want to thank Jimmy and Marco back at TSN 690 for helping us out, and I want to thank you for listening. For Johnny North, I am Dave Simon, and this has been Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.